So we already know that Robbie, Miguel, Hawk, Sam, and Tori have been in this 6-season argument with their fist about who's the best in the valley. But what about beyond the Spider-Verse? How would our beloved fighters hold up if they were to compete beyond the valley? And no, I ain't talking about them Barcelona niggas. I'm talking about them real fighters. This particular individual was a Hall of Fame martial artist before Miguel was even born. And you may already know who that is. None other than the notorious bad boy of Seaford himself, Jerry.
Hell no.
Some of the lightning, some of the lightning. Since it's our height, cause we're some of the lightning. Some of the lightning, some of the lightning. The numbers are white, cause we're some of the lightning. Some of the lightning, lightning, lightning. Oh, you wanna get in and want some to see? Some of the lightning with me. And Jack.
Kickin' It, a kids sitcom which was inspired by Karate Kid, with its main focus being lighthearted, funny, and family oriented. A contrast to what we have today. But don't let that goofy shit fool you. These motherfuckers got hands. And when I say they got hands, play Miguel real quick. Now play Jack. This is how you summon the lightning. If you know anything about Jack Brewer and Cobra Kai, it would be safe to say that Jack can solo the Cobra Kai verse. But after further study, I disagree with that. I think the Cobra Kai characters have evolved to a point where they can actually give Jack some problems. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. Today, we're going to be taking not only Jack, but all of Bobby Wasabi and putting them against the top dogs of the Cobra Kai verse, so we can finally see which show was really the best around. First, we'll start off with individual matchups, going from the weakest of each of the dojos all the way to the senseis. And when we get to the higher competition, we'll start breaking down each of their fights so we can truly analyze their skill set. Then after that, we'll do team matchups similar to the Sekai Tekai to see which team itself is actually the best. The rules are going to be tournament based, but we'll talk about a real fight between these boys later. Without further ado, allow me to introduce to you the world's first Cobra Kai inspired fragrances. The scent of a cobra. You see, when it comes to Cobra Kai, it takes more than just being badass or doing badass things. You gotta smell badass too. And what better way to do that than getting your very own Cobra Kai inspired cologne? These fragrances not only smell pleasant, but they also capture the aura and the presence of Cobra Kai's most iconic characters. For example, if you wanted to smell like this: calming, refreshing, the peacefulness of nature, then I would insist on you trying Daniel LaRusso's scent, representing balance and a clear mind. Or you could just smell like Johnny, energetic, spicy, straightforward, bringing you closer to the fiery spirit of the #1 blonde in the valley. Or you can just straight up smell like a villain. If you wanted to command respect from others, maybe even a little bit of fear, then John Kreese's fragrances is definitely for you. His scent kind of gives off that raw power of being mysterious yet ominous. But Scent of a Cobra also offers more flavors than just these three. They also have Terry Silver, Kim Dae-eun, and Tori Nichols, each of them connecting you in a different way to their respective characters, because these scents were created with the love and passion from a family of Cobra Kai's very own fans. With Valentine's Day around the corner, why not express your love in a different way this year? The link to each type of fragrance will be in the description. Be sure to get your very own so you can carry the spirit of the show way after it's gone, while also supporting fans of the show just like us. Let us begin. Starting off with the weakest link of Bobby Wasabi. I ain't even gonna waste our time. My boy Eddie gets smacked by everybody in Cobra Kai. He may even get whooped by the kids, man. I'm sorry. Out of everyone in Bobby Wasabi, it's safe to say that both Eddie and Milton were the ones who didn't take their karate to the next level, with Milton only being better than Eddie because he was in the show longer. I think Eddie will be able to whoop somebody like Penis Breath, but his limit is probably Kyler, not gonna lie. But what about Milton? I think the best fighter to stack up against him would be Dimitri. And it pains me to say this, but bro, Milton is losing. Milton definitely gained more confidence as a fighter, but he never really graduated from that awkward style that he has. He's good at countering strikes, but his own striking potential is the equivalent of a Sleeping Dogs NPC. And despite Dimitri being such a lovable character, we gotta acknowledge the improvements. His kicks has gotten way more clean, way more snappier, way more fluid. And he definitely knows how to use his reach. One thing that Milton does have over him though, and this kind of goes for all of the Bobby Wasabi characters, is the grappling. They be making people do front flips in the air with one hand on the show. How? Like, they got that McDojo level strength. If Dimitri is caught with a counter into a grab, it's over for him. But if he stays elusive and stays long, he can take home the dub. And I don't really expect him to become overly aggressive because, bear with me, that's not the Miyagi-Do way. So sure, Cobra Kai can beat the bums and runner-ups of Bobby Wasabi, but what about the real fighter? The top dog, Jerry. Now this is a top competitor. We gonna have to pull out some real fighters in Cobra Kai to take this dude. And I'm thinking of two of them, Kenny and Hawk. 1v1s though, they not jumping. It's a shame that when people think of cold fighters on Kickin' It, they only think of Jack, because Jerry is really the GOAT of the team. He was able to beat Jack, Kim, and another black belt at the same time. He has the speed, he has the technique, he has the footwork. He's really overall the complete fighter. But then he does shit like this. You know, it's crazy how similar Jerry and Hawk truly are. They're both fighters that are right under the GOATs of their respective series, and they should be way better than what they actually are. Despite their vast potential, they be taking hella L's. The only difference being when Hawk does it, it pisses me off more, because at least when Jerry does it, it's for the laughs. And the laughs is also why Jerry is gonna lose to both of these fighters. When it comes to technique, Hawk has the edge on him, and then when it comes to speed, Kenny has the edge on him. But the main reason why they beat him is because they're simply going to want it more, and Jerry is just a fucking monkey. Yeah, it's not looking good for Bobby Wasabi right now. What about the co-main event though? Let's take a look at the female fighters. We got Kim No Dae-un, the second best student in all of Bobby Wasabi, going up against Sam, Tori, and Devin. Actually, just Sam and Tori. Devin getting her ass whooped. Now, like I said before, this is the upper echelon of fighters. So that means we have to break down their greatest hits, starting off with Kim. Now, Kim has always been the best in the series other than Jack. She started off as one of the head of the Black Dragons, but then she switched dojos to Bobby Wasabi on some Cobra Kai shit. But in the last season, she switched dojos again to go train at a temple with a Grandmaster. But then she came back and fought 3 black belts at once. Miguel, let's take a look at this fight right here. The thing that I'm most impressed about is how she's able to take the momentum of someone twice her size and make him do a front flip in the air. Then she catches the kick coming in and immediately does a spinning elbow. Notice how when she finishes her counter, she turns her attention to the other dude. This is that Arkham City level combat. She got 3 black belts out of there in under 10 seconds because Kim is him. Now let's take a look at Sam and Tori. Man, I used to hate watching these girls fight. Their form was weird, their style was off, and whatever that was, never want to see it again. But this is when the true beauty of Cobra Kai comes out. When you compare how ass they used to fight in the earlier seasons to how they fight now, it makes the whole journey worth it. We got Tori Stunt Devil out here going crazy. And I hate to say it, but they moving more advanced than Kim. You can honestly tell that Samantha is Daniel LaRusso's daughter. She has been hitting her katas. She has been getting her forms down. The defense is immaculate. Just look at how she can easily counter people. And I love the unique stances. But there's a problem here. Her ass is a little too much like her father, with both of them having negative athleticism. There's a couple times in this Sekai Tekai where Sam just simply struggles to keep up and she gets punished for it. Even with her 2v1 at the end, she was still getting tagged. Somebody that's quicker than her, like Spanish Hawk for example, can defend every single one of her attacks with no problem. And the fighters that she was getting bested by are not above Kim's level. Kim can do these type of moves to her. So while Sam has displayed superior technical ability, I think if she was to get into a fight with Kim, she would not be able to keep up with her pace. Now Tori, on the other hand, does not have this problem. First off, she showed the advanced techniques. She has the throws. She can fake a body kick into a head kick and follow it up with this move, I don't know what that is, but that's cold. But what's more important than these flashy moves is her reaction time. In the brawl, she was able to go toe-to-toe with Zara and was actually getting the better of her until they started jumping. And she's got to be one of the fastest people in the tournament. The only time she was getting tagged, she was either fighting Zara or she was on that Robbie shit, not being locked in. So with both speed and technique into consideration, I believe Kim beats Sam but loses to Tori. It's time for what we all been waiting for. Jack. If Miguel or Robbie were to fight Jack, how would that fight actually go? Now we all know that Miguel is the MVP of the Sekai Tekai. He saved his whole team from elimination multiple times, and he fought many tough opponents. Some of them had different styles like wrestling and capoeira, and he still was able to defeat them, proving that Miguel is almost a complete fighter, successfully using both Cobra Kai and Miyagi-Do to his advantage. But I can't even lie to you right now, bro. Jack is different. When it comes to a tournament-based matchmaking, Jack clearly has the speed advantage on Miguel, not only with striking, but his reaction time as well. In the Carson fight, we can even see that he can counter being thrown. Like, who does that? He also shows that he also has the ability to adapt in this fight. Realizing that his opponent is cheating, padding his hand wraps to hit harder, he stopped trying to block his attacks and started weaving. It just seems that everything Miguel can do, Jack can do better. Miguel has that dog in him, but he can lose focus and fight a little sloppy sometimes. And a nigga like Jack is going to take advantage of that. But as cold as Jack really is, he is not unbeatable. He has a weakness, and this weakness was shown in the Jack versus Rudy fight. If we take a look at when he fought his own sensei from a different dojo, we can see that Jack is vulnerable to solid defense and good counterattacks. You can see this fact the very moment the fight begins, and Jack even acknowledges this. But when his sensei really focused, he started fighting in a way that is all too familiar. That's right, the notorious Miyagi-Do way. And this is where I feel Robbie will steal the show. If we take a look at when Robbie fought Miguel at the beginning of season 6, he was about to lose, but he made that comeback because he became more patient. And this is Robbie at his best, when he's able to counter and exploit the mistakes of his opponent. But Robbie will not comfortably win just because of this. Jack still has the speed on him, and he has the takedown defensibility. But I feel Robbie will be less susceptible to this because of his patience, because he will take his time during the fight. Robbie also has cleaner offensive ability when he wants to. We've seen the air combos he was doing against Quan. He did a triple kick in the air, and he finished his ass. Then he finished him and his teammate after that. Now this isn't anything that's new to Jack. He has definitely bested opponents on this level. But I feel like this, combined with the Miyagi-Do fighting style, can give him the edge. Both of these are 100% high difficulty fights. But in the end, I'm gonna have to say Jack beats Miguel, but loses to Robbie. And finally, it's time to talk about the senseis. Johnny LaRusso and Daniel Lawrence versus
Sensei Rudy Gillespie! Ask me.
Now, if Rudy is serious, he's beating both of them. His fighting style is basically Daniel's and Johnny's combined, being a master at offense and defense. But he's way more quicker, agile, and sporadic than both of these old heads. He's also stronger pound for pound too, being able to toss people twice his size like Ty or Kofi Kingston. Danny boy, your best bet is to start cheating with them pressure point attacks. Other than that, I think that he washes both of our beloved senseis. And there you have it. Cobra Kai basically smacks the fuck out of Bobby Wasabi in the tournament. But despite that, if they were to fight outside of the mat, things will go very differently. Pretty much every person in Bobby Wasabi, except for like Eddie, would win against their opponents in a real life setting. They tend to perform better in real life scenarios, and they have smarter usages of their environments. And then you got people like Jack or Shaolin Jerry, who are just simply too powerful to even touch. Both Rudy and Jack know how to do arm locks and submissions, which makes them more of a complete fighter outside of karate than the Karate Kids. And Cobra Kai doesn't do better as a team either, because they simply cannot match the experience or the chemistry of Bobby Wasabi. But you know who can beat them though? Stingray.
The red team just won!
Jack beats Quan and Axel, and Zara beats Kim.